Well, hello. Thank you for joining us today for Women Helping Women Fund's Nonprofit Connect. I'm joined by three amazing individuals. We have Shauna Edwards, Katie Jessup, and Luke Jasmine III. And before we get started, I think I would just like to hear from each of you. If you can introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about the program and the organization that you're representing today. So Shauna, let's start with you.
Awesome. I'm Shauna Edwards, and I'm the founder and executive director of Lumen High School, which is a nonprofit public charter school for parenting teenagers and their children, which is where Katie and Luke come in.
And Katie and Luke, do you want to talk a little bit about GLOW Childcare or GLOW Children Early Learning? Am I getting that right?
Yes, GLOW Children Early Learning Center. So Luke and I are both the executive directors of GLOW. I also have a foot in the door at Lumen. So at Lumen, I'm also the director of relational learning, which is about building our culture and making sure it's trauma informed and relationship forward. So GLOW Children Early Learning Center provides care to the children of our Lumen High School students who are all pregnant and parenting teenagers. And then we also have programs for the public, such as ECAP and school age winter, spring, and summer break programs.
And Luke, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I get to work with two awesome people and Katie and Shauna on a regular basis, just making an impact on the community and having access for a safe place for not only children at GLOW, but for parents that are trying to do really well for themselves at Lumen High School. So it's great that it's right off of the, right off of a bus line, right across from the STA station. And yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to be part of this.
Oh, that's wonderful. So I know that the impact that your organizations have on parents and family engagement, it's wonderful in both organizations. Can you tell us a little bit, maybe a story about how your organization is helping those that you serve?
Yeah, I mean, we have a million stories with our students. And just the experiences that they have had in the school systems and trying to be a parent and juggling their high school coursework and their parenting life at home and like having to choose between being a parent and being a student. And so for a lot of our students, like this is a place where they can be both, and also like where they really feel a sense of like connection and belonging. And Katie probably has like a very specific student that she would like to share about, because she also leads our parenting coursework. So she has this amazing role where she runs a career and technical based parenting class, and then the students come into GLOW and do like a learning lab with their kids. And so she is seeing all of these like family impacts and dynamics play out. So I'm totally putting you on the spot, Katie, but do you have like one snapshot of just, you have a million cool stories every week, but yeah, what one comes to mind?
Yeah, that's the easiest question by far, because every single day we're seeing amazing things happen in the buildings of Lumen and GLOW. The parents were excited about the idea of having the learning lab at GLOW. And then I think the reality of being in an early learning center and all of the rules and expectations and structure and the learning that happened was a different, it was a little bit of a culture shock. And the first week they weren't so sure about it. By the second week, they were coming into the parenting class saying, I get this so much more now. I understand why early learning is so important. I understand why your teachers are taking so much time teaching our kids to nap on sleeping mats on the floor, and how much that's going to make the transition from the crib to a toddler bed so much easier for us. And usually I just put my kid in a crib with a bottle and they go to sleep when they want. But now I'm learning how to like comfort them and rub their back and have a system and a technique for helping calm my child down and put them to sleep. And this is going to make things so much easier on us. They also are more interested in coming in and being in the field of early learning when they graduate. So we're also creating this system in the parenting class where they're learning the whacks of what childcare needs to be, and they're getting food handlers permit and talking and having a really great relationship with our early learning teachers so that it's a career option for them to be able to go into after they graduate.
Well, and one of the biggest things for me and being in the space of policy and advocacy, I get to see the huge impact Glow and Lumen have in the community. You don't know how many calls I get on a regular basis, whether it's from a policymaker talking about how they wish they had something like this when they were young, or a CEO of an organization saying, hey, did you know I was a teen parent? And so knowing that we have so many people in the community that are impacted, I mean, we're having this right now, right? Because of just the sheer impact. Hearing those stories are awesome. And it just goes to show it's not just the kids and the families that are in the building, it's the overall community. And they want to see us be successful with what we're doing. And it's great.
The work that you're doing and the impact that you have on these lives is just amazing. So Shauna, how many students do you have within Lumen High School? And I understand now this is a charter school, which is very, very exciting for Spokane, right? We're still thrilled with charter schools. So how many students are you serving right now?
So in year one, we took up to 45 students, and then we'll add 15 students a year. So like year two will be 60, year three, 75. Those are kind of like our maximums. And then we're all talking about what the maximum number is. And we think it's like 90 to 100, because then that also equals 90 to 100 babies and toddlers and preschoolers in the early learning center. So we're always having a conversation around the balance of like students and their children and like what the system can manage all together. So and this year in COVID, 45 was the perfect number because we could provide a ton of support and like high, just like that safety net, right? So doing home visits and delivering food to houses and making sure that when we were in the remote side of things that they were getting like the things that they needed, but then also having the space here for them to come and get learning and be in the early learning center and the socially distanced like classrooms and the juggle of the COVID year. So it was a great first year, but also like we're very excited about next year when we'll have maybe one consistent model all year. So yeah, we're looking forward to year two.
Consistency. Everybody's looking for a little stability, a little consistency. We want to know what to expect month to month, and I can definitely appreciate that. Yeah. I had a question about Glow. Now, I understand that this is a nonprofit child care center, and is that a new model? I mean, is that common?
So there are many nonprofit childcares, but there's no other childcare that's like Glow, in the sense of you have parents that are just able to go right downstairs and see their kids, and just really have teachers that buy into what we're trying to do. I mean, these teachers, they come in and they're all about these kids and families and relationships, it's great to see. So there may be other nonprofits, but there isn't one that really seeks and has a mission to really serve these teen parents like Glow does.
It's incredible, really. I know everybody that's involved with both of these organizations, you really strive to address the important issues of poverty, of trauma, and equity within your vulnerable population, like teenage parents. What partnerships are already established out in the community? And then what partnerships are you still looking to really secure, and how can we help?
Yeah, I mean, partnership building is a huge part of our model because we are community-based, like the voices of our community, the parenting teenagers in our community, and then other stakeholders like higher ed, school district teachers and leaders. We're a part of building this model. And so like connecting as partners in the community is something that going forward, we want our students to have opportunities to go do internships in places of business where they can learn different skills or interact in different ways in our community, and like really learning like those soft skills of collaboration and communication, and like putting those into practice out in the community is a big part of our model. And so currently, like a couple of our big partnerships that we really built in this year were around like our wraparound services and support. So we did a lot of work with Excelsior, setting up a WISE team model, which is like a mental health and behavioral model where our students that need the most level of like extra support in that area can get on-site mental health therapy at Lumen. They get a peer support who's meeting with them. So some of those like community-based partnerships, Katie has worked extensively with Joya, providing on the children's side, the occupational and speech and physical therapy that kids need. So really this year we were really trying to lay the groundwork for like the wraparound supports, like that model, even in COVID. So like next year we're adding on WIC on site and a community clinic like that has office hours on site. But some other partnerships, we're just always looking for people who want to partner with us around offering like their space for our students to come in and do internships, or coming into our school and offering electives. Like Canopy Bank has taught a financial literacy elective. We've had some interest from like other downtown businesses to come in and do like fitness classes or provide yoga mats for our students from Lululemon. So we are right downtown. So a big thing is like partnerships in terms of just like where our students can connect right here, right in this area. Those are the first things that come to my mind. But Katie, I mean, Katie's also working on other partnerships with like restaurant groups, and yeah, talk about maybe some of that.
Yes, we want Lumen and Glow to be an extension of the community, and for the community to have access to the amazing families that we get to work with. I think part of breaking the stigma of anything for anybody is learning about who people are on a personal level and being able to connect with each other around parts of your own stories, and having things in common. And there's this idea of what a teen parent is, but we don't see that every day in the halls of Lumen, and when we're watching them with their babies in Glow. Like, these are amazing people who were handed a really, really, really difficult situation that many of us could have been in. And they're seeking their education, and they're trying to create healthy support systems, and they're trying to do better by their child. A lot of them say that being pregnant or having a baby has like completely changed their lives for the better. And we just want to walk alongside them, and anybody who wants to join us, we would love to have a conversation. We always need fundraising partners. We always need internship partners. We have 9 graduating students who are all looking for either part-time or full-time work. We are doing lots of advocacy work. So that's a big part of what Luke gets to bring to us, because he does it so well, is we want the more opportunities for our students and their needs to be at the table, the better, because this is an economic issue, this is an education issue, this is a family issue, this is abuse and neglect issues, this is drug and alcohol issues, this is everything. And so the more we can create a network and a community for our students and families, the better. So if anyone's interested, contact us.
I'd love to hear a little bit about the advocacy. I know, there's some exciting legislation that has just come out from Olympia and national too. So Luke, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of the exciting work that's being done in that arena?
Yeah, so before 2 years ago, if you were a teen parent, you didn't qualify for subsidy. And through legislation, we were able to get that switched over so that a lot of our students would be able to access our state voucher system. And just this past year, we're seeing the largest investment in early learning ever by our state, with $800 million. And the thing is, though, this is still early learning. Yes, we're making big strides in funding and accessibility for parents, but looking at Glow specifically in Lumen, we need models like this to to be able to thrive and be able to do well, because it is such a unique, safe place for community members here in Spokane. And so, like Katie is saying, any local advocacy that we could do, any statewide advocacy we could do to bring more funding so that we can compensate our wonderful teachers for the work that they're doing, it will go a long way. So we definitely needed to do that. And I'm hoping to continue to work with Katie and Shauna and the rest of the community, Women Helping Women, to see how we can build more resources to this here. And hopefully we might see things like this in other communities throughout our state.
I hope so. It's just so special. And every time we hear about Lumen or Glow in the media, or a new funder got behind it, it's so exciting, because the synergy and just what you're doing is so unique. And for it to be right downtown, where there's so many in the neighborhood that want to get involved, like it's just a beautiful partnership. I am a little bit curious. So how do you see your programs, evolving in the future? Do you have new things that you're hoping to add? Shauna, you talked a little bit about how you're adding, 15 high school, slots each year. I think that's wonderful. I'm curious about this clinic that you mentioned.
Yeah, so we have students and their children that need appointments and things on site. So one of the ways we're evolving next year is by having an on-site medical clinic that will have some scheduled appointment hours, and then some just like general drop-in hours where our students can come and get their child checked out if they have a concern. They can also access telehealth in the medical clinic, and then we could switch them to the providers that we have coming in, so that they could end up doing their well checks right on site. So they would like leave English class and pick up their child in Glow and go do a well check and then go back to science. I mean, we can so just providing one of those like areas, like a really specific situation. We have a student who had a baby that was born early and wasn't really gaining weight as fast as the doctor would like. And so every couple days, she has to leave Lumen and Glow and go down to the hospital and get her child weighed, and they report that. And so if the clinic was here, she could literally just walk down the hall and do her child's weight check right on site. So again, taking out those barriers to attendance and to really helping our students like realize their future plans for them and for their child. And so our students come in with dreams, like they have things they want to do. They want to do forensics. They want to be game wardens. They want to be leaders in our community doing things. And a lot of times all these like life barriers pop up and get in the way. And so we really feel like we're just trying to provide like an open opportunity for them to actualize their dreams and like take hold of their future and move forward with a lot of support underlying that. But really like they're driving what they're doing. And honestly, their voices drive what we're doing here. Like they have opinions and things they want to say. Like they're practicing advocacy like right here every day, because when they have a new idea about the schedule or about something that they've seen or want, like they're learning like right in everyday learning advocacy work. And then we're hoping that extends into the greater community, because we just believe that they are the next leaders of our city. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I get real excited.
I think it's great. and because they are the next leaders and they're leaders among their peers. And I think we're all parents in this group. Can we just collectively agree that under the best circumstances, parenting a newborn or a toddler or a preschooler is extremely hard, and you're removing those barriers for success, and you're providing a clear path for education attainment and graduating on time. And I mean, it's just wonderful work. I hope that each of you feels so proud, because the community is so excited for this. I'm curious on the Glow side, how do you see this evolving? Taking on more kids, it sounds like each year. Anything else that's fun in the works?
Oh, we never run out of ideas, and neither do our parenting students. There were a number of things that we didn't get to do this year because of COVID and construction delays and all sorts of other things. We have 2 really incredible indoor-outdoor play spaces that will get finished this next year for our students and their children. So being downtown, it's hard to get kids access to fresh air. We obviously have a riverfront park, but we want our kids to be able to have their hands in the dirt and be in nature-based play as much as we can. So we created 2 spaces that have windows that give kids fresh air in our building. One of them is designed to look like they're in a forest. So there will be like actual trees, and everything will be forest themed. And the other one is based on the cycle of rain. And so we have a drain in the floor set up already. So there will be like actual hand pump water faucet thing that the kids can play with water and snow and mud year round. We had the Lumen students build a fairy garden this year for the preschool class for our ECAP and preschoolers. So even though they're in the building, their hands are in the dirt playing with real plants and cute little fairies. And so we want to bring more of those sort of things in, more field trips, more nature, more getting outside, learning about the community. We will also be doubling in size next fall. We have 6 babies being born in August alone, which is essentially a whole nother infant classroom. So we will be hiring again in the fall, like the late summer and fall. We didn't get to bring in community partners like Skyhawks to do fun classes like we talked about. Again, Luke and I and Shauna are never without lots of ideas.
I love the enthusiasm. So I have a couple of more questions, and one of them is, who do we contact if we would like to volunteer? I seem to remember that there was a Facebook post about rocking babies now if you're vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yes, GLOW is always looking for volunteers, especially with our infants and toddlers. State ratios are 1 to 4 with infants and 1 to 7 with toddlers. We try to keep it lower than that. But obviously, the more caring adults that are safe and in the room to be available to our children, the better. We definitely need people to come in and rock our babies and to play with our toddlers and help with our preschoolers and all the amazing activities that they're doing. So if somebody's interested in coming to volunteer at GLOW, we especially are hoping to have the 3rd generation of like grandmas and grandpas in the room too, because not all of our students have access to extended family. And our whole thought with everything was that we would impact 2 generations, and more we're actually realizing that we're impacting at least 3. So having grandma and grandpa figures is just like a really lovely thing that was like a surprise to what we're doing too. So they can contact me, Katie, at glowchildren.org, Katie. And I know we also have lots of volunteer opportunities at Lumen, so I'll let Shauna talk about that too.
Yeah, we have volunteers that come in and help throughout the day, providing sometimes like help with students in classrooms, some like people that want to do tutoring, or we have one volunteer who comes in once a week. She helps with lunch, she like helps in classrooms, and then she literally makes like signs for our building. She's like our Lumen sign maker. It'll be like Spirit Week, and they're like, so I mean, anything you're like passionate about, we can probably find a way for you to volunteer. So we're always like, oh my gosh, Holly, our amazing sign maker, who comes in once a week and keeps our school like in the know with what's happening with signs. And then like electives, we want them to be really community based. So like I said, if there were businesses or like people that had ideas, we have a couple of, it's a teen mom who's now in her 40s and her daughter teaching an Adulting 101 class to our students. Financial literacy. I mean, we have a midwife who comes in and volunteers. Like today, she walked through the door with like literally a pelvis and a baby, like a diagram of a pelvis and a baby, because like the lesson today was like how babies are born. So I think just like anything that people have a passion about and wanting to connect that with our students, we're always like looking for ways to partner with people in the community to like have our students feel like they are like, you know, it takes a village, right? So like we're a part of the village, and then like we need the rest of the community to also be part of the village with us. So yeah, we could always find a way to have volunteers in our space, and even more so without all the COVID craziness in terms of like things being a little more opened up. So
well, we're getting to the end of it, it sounds like, and things are opening up, and vaccination has been so great. Before we end our time together, I have a question for each of you. Is there anything else that you would like our community to know about your program?
I mean, the thing I always want everyone to know is that parenting teenagers are amazing and tenacious and the most hardworking people you will ever meet. So if you see someone young strollering a baby, like, give them love, send them your love and your energy, because they are doing something so hard, and also like doing it in like ways that are just like with a mindset of like growth and discovery and like desire to just love their children so well. And like also they give it to our community in so many ways. So I always want people to know like how amazing parenting teenagers are. And I feel like I've told you everything else about Lumen, but call me if you have more questions.
Katie and Luke, what about you?
Well, there's two things. One, we have a really cool summer program coming up that we would like, and we're opening it up to the public because, yes, our main priority is making sure that we have space for Lumen students, but we also want the community to come in and see and interact with Glow as well. And the second part is just come, volunteer. We'll find something. We'll find what your talent is and place you wherever. So you don't have to come with a specific thing. If you have a specific thing, that's great. But if you just want to be involved and you want to be part of the community, just reach out to us and we'll find something.
That's wonderful. Katie, you're up. Any closing thoughts?
Well, Shauna said what I always say, so I'll leave it at that. And Luke's always good about advocacy and community building. So I will put in a plug for our school age summer program. We still have openings. It's again, with us, we're very community based. So the children are meeting at Lumen and Glow every day, but then they're going out into the community. We have Mobius on board, we have splash pads, we have recycling center trips, we have all sorts of really interesting things for the kids to be hands-on and learning. And the summer school age programs and the winter and the spring help create extra funding sources, because even though we got these lovely rate hikes in the new budget year, it still is not covering 100% of our costs. And so fundraising and offering other programs to the community help us keep our doors open to be able to serve our parenting teenagers.
Well, we want to support you in any way that we can. And I'm so pleased, Women Helping Women Fund, we were able to award a grant for Lumen this year. I think that the work that you're doing is so special, and all three of you are just amazing community builders. And thank you genuinely for taking the time today. And anybody that has questions can reach out to Lumen and Glow directly. They can reach out to Women Helping Women Fund, and we'll serve as a liaison. But continue that amazing work. And thank you again for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you, Heather, for what you're doing in the community. We really appreciate you.
Of course. Have a great day, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.